You heard before the 8-hour workday, the weekend, the minimum wage, and so many other important benefits that we enjoy, while recognizing we have a long way to go. There's a lot more progress to be made, but Labor Day, a moment that we stop and reflect, remember, and really honor those that have come before us, whose shoulders we stand on. And in this very different and unusual Labor Day, I think we should also remember every frontline essential worker, whether you are a healthcare professional that is dealing directly with individuals who are experiencing the pandemic in a very real and personal way, whether you are a grocery worker who's ensuring that our supply chain and there's food on the table every single day, or you're a firefighter, while not necessarily pandemic related, what you are exposing yourself to by being a frontline essential worker fighting wildfires while we experience unprecedented heat waves here in Southern California and across the country. It's a moment for us to really take a moment, honor, remember, and reflect on their sacrifice that they are giving in life and limb in many ways each and every day. And then I think lastly, it's really incumbent upon us to remember the millions of Americans that are facing an economic downturn without a job. I mean, those of us who, I was talking to someone the other day, and yeah, you know, it's a time of mixed blessings in many ways. You know, things aren't as great as we would want them to be, but if we have our health, if we have our family, and if we have a job, we are doing better than many others. And so I think it's a moment on this Labor Day, while we honor the dignity of all work, while we honor the organizers and workers that have come before us, while we honor essential frontline workers, we also remember those who don't have the opportunity to have full employment. And even if they do have employment, they're underemployed, not making enough to put food on their families' tables. So workers in this country at this particular time are experiencing challenges like we have never faced. And in 57 days, I believe we have the opportunity to do something about it. We have the opportunity to not only remember them, but to honor them by ensuring that we cast a ballot. Not just that we cast a ballot for ourselves, but we cast a ballot for all of them. And we're ensuring that we tell our friends, our families, our neighbors, our coworkers to make a plan to make sure that they too get out and cast a ballot. And so I appreciate Councilmember for bringing us together, giving us the opportunity to even virtually be together to honor this very important Labor Day, and look forward to fighting alongside each and every one of you for the next 57 days. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Rusty. We really appreciate those words. I remember growing up with my family that has been in the meat industry and reading about the horrors and abuses before there was regulation, and how many times I shook a hand that had missing digits or sometimes a whole missing arm. And before these controls were put in place and people were expendable and people were allowed to use workers and dispose of them and then continue on reaping the profits. And as we face this future where there are those who want to roll back regulations, we need to band together and tell people what's on the ballot, and that rights, safety, and the ability to go to your job and be protected is on the ballot. So thank you so much for reminding us about voting. And we have another speaker. Our next speaker is, if you don't mind, just before we go, we've been joined by a candidate for Orange City Council, Eugene Fields. and he's here representing that team that is going to take back Orange, as well as Florice Hoffman, who is a regional director for the California Democratic Party, as well as a treasurer for the DPOZ. So thank you for joining us today. And we have our fearless leader for the Democratic Party of Orange County, who has made such strides in turning us blue. And I know she's got a barn burner ready. So she is also not just our leader, but she has led a union for most of her career been in a union most of her adult life. So she is just a wonderful speaker for us today. So thank you so much, Ada, for joining us and sharing with us your wisdom.
Thank you, Melissa, so much for having me here and inviting me to say a few words. We have some fantastic labor warriors right here on this call. Molly Muro, Florice Hoffman, Gina Clayton-Tarvin, Carrie Kropke, Lauren, Anita. We're just so fortunate to, be surrounded by so many great labor leaders here and labor warriors. I'm excited to speak alongside the chair of the state party, Rusty Hicks, who has, done so much to grow our movement in Los Angeles, not only the labor movement, but particularly hotel workers. Very thankful to see you this morning, Rusty, and be alongside with you. And also my sister, Gloria Alvarado, who's on the cutting edge, a bold leader who will take us into the next exciting phase of labor here in Orange County. We all have to do our part. It's politics and labor, they all come together. And I think we're in a beautiful time here to make a lot happen. Melissa, again, thank you for organizing this. Your leadership is a type of leadership that we need amongst labor and elected officials. We need strong voices for workers in Sacramento, and you're an example for other Orange County electeds to follow. So thank you so much. Labor has been my passion for the last 30 years. As a former hospitality worker, my experience as a bus person, as a dishwasher, a cashier, a front desk clerk, it's really grounded all my work in everything I do. This pandemic has really brought so many challenges, as Rusty talked about, and highlighted the need for labor even more, especially here in Orange County, where local and state Republicans are undermining workers at every single turn. We cannot get through this pandemic without workers' rights. Workers face great challenges right now, and they're gonna have to make, and they are making, the terrifying choices of whether or not to risk their lives to go into work or put food on the table. And we've got to stand with them as they're making these choices. We are proud to stand with National Union of Healthcare Workers here in Orange County. The Kinder Hospital system has been they failed to provide proper PPE and testing, and NUHW has been calling Kinder out, and we stand with NUHW. Under this pandemic, we've seen widespread devastation of the for-profit healthcare system because so many Americans have lost their jobs. We've seen that arbitrary decision to tie healthcare to jobs has placed our nation's healthcare at greater risk. Healthcare is a human right, and we need to stand with universal healthcare policies like Medicare for all. As our economy reopens, we must keep standing with our frontline workers in our essential businesses. We've got to stand with our grocery workers at UFCW. Orange County cities must enact and have been enacting face mask policy ordinances, because the supervisors in Orange County, which are dominated by the right-wing Republicans, 4-1, they have failed us. They have failed to protect us. So we've also have to stand with hospitality workers, who are the backbone of our economic recovery. Our hospitality industry was devastated, as you all know, in March when the closures began, and about 90% of our members at Unite Here, Local 11, have lost their jobs. We're working hard to keep our members fed and also keep their basic health insurance. So we want you to unite with Unite Here so none of our workers go without healthcare during this pandemic. For example, here in Orange County, our workers have recently organized at the Laguna Cliff Marriott in Dana Point. And as a result, the company cut off their healthcare. Can you believe that? in the middle of a pandemic. So on this Labor Day, we'd like you to join our efforts by calling the Laguna Cliff Marriott workers and tell them to restore their health care for their workers. I'm going to give you two numbers, and after I speak, I will write them in the chat. So Human Resource, Jorge Palomares, 949-487-7503, or you can call the General Manager, Jim, at 949-661-5000. 949-661-5000. We're also taking action this Thursday, the 10th at 3 p.m. at UCI North Campus, and I'll put the information on the chat shortly. So join those workers as they're courageous trying to find their right in the middle of this pandemic. But we also have to stand with American Postal Workers Union. They have been fighting to protect the Postal Service every single day. They've been sounding the alarm with Donald Trump's attempt to cheat his way back into another term. But we can't forget this Labor Day that our nation is really facing a reckoning with the systemic, racist systemic disparities that have harmed our Black communities for far too long. As we stand with our Black Lives Matter movement, we must strive for a more just economy. The labor movement has an essential role to play for equity in the workplace and to end harassment and to finally see a close in the wage gap. This is particularly devastating to Black women. We cannot find justice unless we have economic justice. We can't talk about Labor Day either in Orange County or in California without talking about immigration reform. We need comprehensive immigration reform and also a pathway to citizenship. So at the Democratic Party of Orange County, we stand with Orange County's workers. We want you to follow us on our social media to find out more about union actions around Orange County. We help Gloria out as much as we can. Please stand with our endorsed candidates, including Melissa Fox, the champion for workers. And you can find all our endorsed candidates at ocdemocrats.org. I just want to say one final thing, and it's that my union has taught me that the sky's the limit, and that when we braid our voices together, we can make collective change. That's why I believe that when we put our hearts and minds, we can accomplish everything. So let's push together to make Orange County more inclusive and just. Sí se puede.
Thank you so much, Ada. I really appreciate you taking the time to fight for all of us, for all of our rights, and all the work that you do and inspiring us with your words. I wanted to also introduce another champion for labor who's joined us today, Anita Narayana, who is the communications director for SEIU 2015, the Union of Home Healthcare Workers. This is a union that has been in particular on the front lines and has not had the protection and the PPE needed. So we're so grateful that Anita's here and the great work that she's doing. We also have a champion before us with Gloria Alvarado. So not only is she leading our workers, but she's feeding our workers. And they have put together a food drive that has had thousands and thousands of cars drive through, and she has fed thousands of families. And we're so grateful for the work that she's doing along with the Orange County Labor Federation. So here is Gloria Alvarado, the director of the Orange County Labor Federation.
Thank you so much, Melissa, for inviting me. Thank you all for celebrating this amazing Labor Day with us. It's hot out here. We're just about to start distributing food once again. I'm actually joining an effort in LA, and it's great to see that there's a lot of people who are willing to make a difference together. And I want to say that is someone like Melissa Fox. Melissa Fox acknowledged some of the workers that actually came together and put together a food drive, but also Melissa took it to the next level by providing PPE. So thank you for those protections for the farm workers. The farm workers really need it. Later on, I will show you some of the pictures of people working. There's a lot of noise going on, so I did kind of secluded myself in a corner, but I just wanted to say thank you for inviting me. Ada touched upon all of the efforts and all of the work that is going on in Orange County. But I want to tell you that throughout California, we're celebrating because we have more workers becoming part of a union. We just celebrated with the governor the amazing accomplishment of actually having childcare workers now be part of a union. This is something that has never been seen, and this is 2020. So to me, it's surprising that we're still fighting to get workers unionized. This is the kind of work that we're doing. We're creating solidarity. We're creating change. Here in Orange County, the labor movement is 250,000 strong. And it is because of leadership like you that we are able to continue working. I just want to mention some historical points. I want to let you know that, Labor Day wasn't really celebrated until after 1886. A worker demonstration was held in Chicago, and from them on, celebrating and fighting because they were still fighting for the 8-hour workday. Rusty, share a little bit about behind the thought of 8 hours of work, 8 hours of play, and 8 hours to rest. It's incredible that it is 2020 and we're still fighting for those rights. I want to thank all of you for remembering the workers. There is honor in every aspect of labor, regardless of if you work in the fields or if you're a firefighter and you are taking care of the fires right now, if you're a nurse that's keeping people alive, if you are working in a grocery store, there is honor at every level. Our janitors, our hotel workers, our nurses, there is honor in every single aspect of labor. And that is what we remember today. That is that, every worker deserves respect, dignity, safety, and a good paycheck. The contributions that the labor movement puts into the economy sometimes are just put in the back burner, but the companies are prosperous because we're here. The companies are prosperous because we do and make a difference every day as we show up to work. So with that, I just want to say thank you. I want to congratulate you on this amazing effort to move forward, not only now in Irvine, but to serve the entire state and continue representing Orange County and representing the working families in Orange County. Melissa, you are a true hero, and I want to say thank you for all that you do. Sincerely from all the workers. So congratulations and happy Labor Day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Gloria. Somehow we couldn't have a Labor Day pass without celebrating together in some way the tremendous strides that we've made through organizing, because it was organizing that brought us that 8-hour workday and so much more. And now, as this gig economy threatens to push people to and beyond their limits without providing enough money for homes, healthcare, childcare, all the more for us to fight together. I see that we've been joined by Ahmad Zara of Fullerton. He has done a great job in Fullerton and also a labor champion, and we're really glad that he's here today. Thank you, Ahmad. I wanted to go back to Lauren Johnson Norris, who is, again, running for Irvine City Council, and she is my appointee to the Community Services Commission, and she's been endorsed by many unions individually and by the Labor Federation, and she was going to share with us just a few words on her support for labor.
Well, thank you, Melissa. It's always an honor to be with you and so many labor champions in one place, especially during this unique time. Today is such an important day. I know that many or most of the leaders who are here, every day is Labor Day, and they work on the front line to make sure that working people are protected, they're safe, and they have the compensation and benefits that they deserve. But for our country, it is an opportunity to reflect more deeply on the impact of the labor movement on our country and this world. You know, Melissa and I have spent the last several years, me as her commissioner and she as an elected in this city, standing for working people, be it championing childcare in this city and bringing 2,500 new childcare seats to the city to support working families, especially working women, to marching with our labor brothers and sisters, standing with them at the grocery store, at the hotels, our janitors in their commercial buildings. I've stood with Melissa, and I'm so grateful for her leadership as we support working people here. You know, for my family, I too come from a labor family. My grandfather was a teamster. He bottled at a brewery. He retired young due to disability, and he was able still with a disability pension to support his family while my grandmother continued to work into her late 70s. My great-grandfather on my mom's side was an organizer of the textile trades. He was able to have a bit of ownership in cooperative housing, where he raised my grandfather, who was the first to go to college. So I saw the way that being part of a collective group standing up for their rights and helped build the future of a middle-class family. And I have all my privileges as a result of that. So for that reason, I will always give back to working people and help them succeed and make sure that here in Irvine, this is a city where jobs are safe, where wages are fair, benefits support families, keep people healthy, and I stand with you today and always. Thank you so much. I'm running for City Council in Irvine. And Melissa, thanks so much for your friendship. We know you're gonna get to the assembly, and I can't wait to see what you'll do when you get there.
Thank you so much, Lauren. It surely was an honor to stand next to you and hundreds of workers outside our city's hotels and demand for safe working conditions when we have had experience of rape, assault, and violence on the job that nobody should have to brave in order to take home a paycheck. And it was an honor to stand with you and so many others. We have with us somebody who makes their career as a union attorney and who is one of the most courageous people that I know. She's our regional director and our Democratic Party of Orange County treasurer, and she's been a champion and a good friend, and she's going to share just a few words with us. Larice Hoffman.
Good morning, I guess still. I just want to thank all the committed labor people here today and everyone else for supporting Melissa Fox, and of course her husband, who also once was a union attorney also. Let me just say that it's really imperative that we defeat Proposition 22 also. The ads on television are so deceptive, and Uber and Lyft, it is not illegal for employees to be misclassified as independent contractors. It is illegal for their employers to misclassify them and underpay them. And it's really important to understand that what this company is doing is trying to really make low-wage workers bear the brunt of what they should be paying for. And they're using their billions of dollars to misinform the public. So many of us who've been working in this for a long time know about wage theft in the garment industry. Unfortunately, a bill was not passed by the legislature this year, but there's been wage theft in the trucking industry forever, making these workers some of the lowest paid workers at the ports. So a lot of employers, including our postal master, DeJoy, has made his money off of misclassifying employees, and we really need to stay together, because the fear that the other side in the Chamber of Commerce has put into this really takes away from what our Supreme Court did in California, and that is make sure that independent contractors are classified as employees. So I hope all of you stand with the Democratic Party to defeat Proposition 22 and labor. Thanks.
Thank you. What so many people don't know is that the legal maneuvers with the Proposition 22 and how that broke down. For once, every time these rideshare companies were taken to court, they lost and were misclassified as employees. So when this law was addressed by our state legislature. They are actually just clarifying what the courts and our employment law had already provided. And so now what Prop 22 will do is take away all of the regulatory scheme that our courts have held should apply to people who are misclassified as contract workers. And so while there are issues with contract workers and people who really do want to be contract workers, almost the vast majority have been misclassified. And so that is what every court has held and what the legislature was attempting to clarify. So it's really important to organize. I just heard from Senator Tom Umberg, who's about to join us, and I said that it would be okay if we gave him a few minutes to talk. He's going to come on. And in the meantime, if Eugene Fields is available to tell us a little bit about his work, that would be great. Eugene?
Hi, sorry all. I was just feeding my daughter breakfast. Thank you so much. Councilwoman Fox, good morning. My name is Eugene Fields and I'm running for Orange City Council. I'm pleased to join you today and I'm very excited to be among so many labor champions. I'm proud to have been endorsed by the Orange County Labor Federation as well as Unite Here. My first job ever, like a lot of people who lived in Orange County, was actually working at the Disneyland Hotel. And I was fortunate enough to be a part of a labor union. This was when minimum wage was $3.80 an hour. My first job was $5.50 an hour, so I appreciated that. My mother was a union employee of UTLA, and I remember going to a lot of those union meetings with her when I was a child. I fully support the efforts that are being done, and you know, it is sad to see the city that I live in is so anti-union, and if I get elected, I promise to open the doors for our sisters and brothers in labor. Thank you so much for this time, and go Team Fox. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Eugene. It's such a pleasure to come together on this side of an issue and to talk with people who are every day working to support workers. And we just got Senator Umberg to join us, and if he could give us just a few words, or as much as he would like actually, on labor and his support for this day.
Well, thanks, Melissa. Actually, let me spend a few words or take a few words to talk about what a champion you are for working men and women and how both excited everyone in the legislature is about your candidacy and looking forward to you coming to Sacramento. That's even separate and apart from the person you'd be replacing. Even if it weren't the worst legislator in the assembly that you're replacing, we'd be excited for you to come to Sacramento. So I know things are going really well. Labor Day is the official kickoff. Well, you've been campaigning for a long time, but Labor Day historically is the kickoff for the campaign. I know things are going really well. And I want to thank you for inviting me to share a few moments. But also one other message here, you can check out my shirt. You see my shirt? We may only have another 3 weeks or so to be counted in the census, and it's critical for all of us that care about making sure that we get our fair share of resources for education, for schools, for roads, for healthcare, to make sure that we're counted. We're having some challenges in some areas in Orange County, particularly in areas that I represent. And so we really need to make a super focused effort on some of those undercounted areas. And I see a lot of folks that are on that are helping out. I see Ada, and I see lots and lots of other folks. I think Rusty's on as well. So thank you guys for your leadership, both in terms of working men and women, and also just overall leadership for California.
Thank you, Tom. Really appreciate that. Now, again, we've been talking about how important it is to vote. It's also really important to be counted in the census because it's all about the support that we're going to receive from both the state and federal levels. In Assembly District 68, which I do hope to represent, we are going to have ballot boxes in our entire county. Actually, we'll have ballot boxes, and we're asking you to please put your ballot in early and deliver it to the ballot boxes. Please don't use the mail because it is becoming less and less reliable. There's another new announcement that the Honda Center is going to be an in-person voting center. So we're really excited about that. So we're also using all of our campaign resources to talk with people, not just about why they should vote for our campaign, but also about how to vote and walking them through the process and making a plan to vote. And you've heard so many people today talk about that. So as you can see behind me, whoops, wrong way. Behind me, I have our campaign signs, which are in. And so if you'd like to help out, and if you're not in my district, make sure and you help get signs out. This is going to be really important since we're not going to be door knocking.
And Melissa, for folks that don't live in your district, they can still move. They've got another month or so to move, then move back to my district after they've established residency. Hey, let me just also, Robin is not here, but I know she is extremely fond of you, Melissa, and sadly we just popped on, but she's out walking right now. So I'm sure if she were here, she'd want to send her best to you as well.
Well, it is mutual admiration for the amazing Brigadier General Robin Unberg, as well as you, Senator. And we're so happy to have you here today. And we have a really cool video to close us out. Max, are you ready? I would like if you would put on our some of the images of the struggle that we are celebrating today. We would like to go with the Dropkick Murphys and then Billy Bragg. Max, you ready to tee those up?
Yes, ma'am.
Who toil night and day, by hand and by brain, to earn your pay.
love that this has photos of the women's unions too, because women have been instrumental in the union movement from the very, very beginning. So we have one more for Billy Bragg. We're just gonna, tell the Irvine City Council to oppose this. Yes, we, on our agenda tomorrow, we're gonna have a resolution opposing the slowdown of the U.S. Postal Service and the removal of 10 sorting machines from the Santa Ana mail facility. So that should affect all of us. So please write into Irvine City Council at cityofirvine.org to oppose the slowdown of the Postal Service. And with that, we're gonna have Billy Bragg take us out.
There's power in the factory, power in the land, power in the hand of the worker. But it all amounts to nothing if together we don't stand. There is power in our union. Now the lessons of the past were all learned with workers' blood. Mistakes of the bosses we must pay for. From the cities and the farmlands to trenches full of mud. War has always been the bosses' way, sir. The union forever defending our rights. Down with the black label workers unite. We are brothers and our sisters in many far off lands. There is power in our union. Now I long for the morning that they realise brutality and unjust laws cannot defeat us. But who'll defend the workers who cannot organise? And the bosses send their lackeys out to cheat us. Money speaks for money, the devil for his own. Who comes to speak for the skin and the bone? But a comfort to the widow, a light to the child. There is power in our union. The union forever defending our rights. Down with the black label workers unite. With our brothers and our sisters, together we will stand. There is power in our union.
Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed our celebration of the worker today. And now let's enjoy this day off and thank everyone with our barbecues and our families that we are allowed this day to take and celebrate. Thank you so much, and vote.